Say when.
When? Good afternoon.
Oh, good.
Welcome
afternoon.
to the Ocean of Inspiration Retreat Talk. And my topic today, I'm sure you've heard this before, is Ocean of Inspiration.
Correct.
But before we get to that, what I'd like to do is really conduct a short process to prepare you for my talk. So I will explain what you'll be doing and then we'll do it. The first thing is I will ask you to close your eyes and I want you to view some pictures. And as you view these pictures with my instruction, I would like you to think of a theme or an idea that comes to mind as you view the pictures, okay? So what I'd like to do is have you just relax, close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Let's take in a few deep breaths, breathing into that inner sanctuary of peace and calm and love. And as you breathe in all the love of spirit, let go of any mind chatter, any thoughts, any worries. So think of your mind as a canvas, but a white canvas, to ready yourself for you to paint the picture you would like to see created from this talk this afternoon. So I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. I'm going to show you the first picture. Close your eyes. And for about 20 seconds, just think of what that means to you. Okay, gently open your eyes. Adjust your vision. Look at that picture. Close your eyes and just think. Think of anything that comes to mind from these two pictures. Gently open your eyes, focus. The next picture. Close your eyes. And gently open your eyes one more time. The last picture. And close your eyes. Great. You may open your eyes. And again, what common theme or idea came forth? I would like a laser answer from a couple of you. What did you think when you saw all of these pictures? What came to your mind? Laser answer, please.
Love.
Love.
Community.
Community, compassion,
Love.
and love. Thank you for sharing that, and I thank you for being part of this process. Well, let me tell you, for me, what came up so strongly when I found those pictures was my inspiration, which was when we as living individuals can honor and welcome all of the different expressions of God that each and every one of you are. Living people, places, things, and animals. Each person, each animal is that divine expression of the intimate. I look at you, and you, and you, and you, and that's what I see. This gives me inspiration because I'm honoring your uniqueness, your individuality, your expression of the Most High. I see from each and every one of your beautiful faces. It's like seeing the outer experience of that, but honoring it all. Seeing the different body types, the different skin color, the different clothing, the different ages, the different species. It's all a beautiful gift. It's all God in creation. That inspires me. And it's all of the differences that make my life richer because of experiencing it all. The other thing that touches me and brings me to heights of just pure happiness is honoring and welcoming all of the sameness that we all share. Now, the sameness that we all share is our inner essence, our nature, that love, that beauty, that harmony, that compassion, that wisdom, that joy. This is where we are the same. And if I can honor all of that inner essence of each and every one, it brings me to such beautiful levels of warm feeling. Okay? And it's important, I think, when we talk about what we honor and what we welcome, to realize there is that appearance, which is the outer. That's the difference. But it's the inner that is the same. People confuse oneness many times because sometimes they think, and it's happened to me years ago, that oneness meant sameness and conformity. Definitely not the way it is. Oneness, in my definition, is realizing who we are and our relationship in God and to each other. And that is, we are all one essence. And all living creatures, from the simplest to the most complex, desire the same thing. Do you have an idea what they desire? What gives me one thing that you feel all living things desire? Love. Life. Perfect. To be heard. Food. To be loved and to be loved. All living things, wherever they are on the spectrum, that's a desire. And that brings me to an SOM quote that I found in a magazine by a Henry Sosu. And it said, quote, all creatures are the same life, the same essence, the same power, the same one, and nothing less. So how are we different? How are we different? By what?
Personality.
Personality, yes. And
Appearance.
and outer appearances. That's how we're different. That is how we're different. Now this brings me to a story that I found in an SOM magazine, and it's about Owen the baby hippo and Beezy the 130-year-old tortoise. Now in the year 2004, there was a tsunami in Kenya, and little Owen, 600 pounds, little Owen, was separated from his pod and was stranded on a coral reef. Now that's pretty dangerous for a baby hippo, even though 600 pounds, and if it was left there alone, it probably would have died. So the villagers rescued Owen. And the first thing Owen did when it got out of the truck and brought to this animal sanctuary was that Owen immediately dashed to this 130-year-old tortoise by the name of Measy. Now picture a tortoise, picture a hippo. The hippo was coming at the tortoise. What did the tortoise do? Hissed, backed away, and went within. Now, it was intimidated, not seeing the beauty of what was coming. Has that happened to any of you ever in your life? Most definitely. It most definitely has to me. Okay, so here's what happened. Owen was very, very persistent in befriending Measy. And by the morning, the two of them were found literally together. They were found nestled together, and the two became inseparable, totally inseparable. Now, they ate together, they swam together, they went everywhere together. When the hippo would literally wander off, the tortoise would get it back in line. They were inseparable. Now, this type of pairing baffled the wildlife experts because they couldn't understand how a reptile and a mammal would form this kind of bond. Now, for me, as a religious scientist, it didn't baffle me at all, because this clearly illustrated the truth is that no matter how different we appear to be on the outside, and that's in form and personality, okay, we are the same. We are the same inside, and we all want the same basic things. We all want the same basic things. And it is our sameness, what we have within, that allows our unity to be understood, embraced, honored, and expressed. So my inspiration is that. This fuels me. This gets my motor going for all of life. You know, getting along, living in harmony, creating a world that works for all, which is CSL's global vision, by the way, and appreciating all that is in front of us, which is wonderful for me. And it's wonderful for the world when we can live that way. So again, if animals like Owen and Measy can get along, or animals like the lamb and the lion, come on, right? I have faith in humanity that we can all get along and live harmoniously. Would you agree with that? Okay. I founded the affirmation that followed the story, and it said, I consciously seek out and love the divine in everyone I meet, acknowledging the bond of oneness that we all share. How much of that is science of mind? I mean, that is so science of mind. To see the divinity within. Boy, if we can see the divinity in each one. Look at your neighbor and just look for a quick minute. And just see the divinity. There's smiles on every one of your faces. There are smiles on every one of your faces. This is my inspiration. This is what gets me up in the morning and know that this world and this life is a magnificent gift. So just breathe that in so I can take a breath. Breathe that in. Now, some of you know I like to collect stories from people, and one of our Beyond Limits class students sent me this story. And I said, I'm going to probably use that in the talk. He was all thrilled. And it came in the year March 2008 from the Bronx in New York. And it was a story about Julio. Now, we're back, but we're talking about people. All right, loving animals, but let's go to human beings. All right, so Julio, a 31-year-old social worker's daily routine was to stop one stop earlier from where he lived, and he went to his favorite restaurant every night to eat his favorite dinner. Now, one night, he stepped off train 6. It was very quiet. There was almost no one there. A teenager came up to him with a knife and said, give me your money. And what Julio did is he gave him the knife. Not the knife, gave him his money, gave him his wallet. Now, as the teenager began to walk away, here's what Julio said to him, and I quote this from the story. Wait, you forgot something. If you're going to be robbing people for the rest of the night, You might as well take my coat to keep you warm. Just think about that for a second. Oof, powerful. So this would-be robber looked at the would-be victim and vice versa. But when the man offered his coat, that robber looked at him like, what is going on? And asked, like, why are you doing this, man? And here's what Julio replied. If you are willing to risk your freedom for a few bucks, I guess you must really need the money. I mean, all I wanted to do was get to dinner, and if you would like to join me, I invite you to come. He's inviting the kid who stuck the knife to him. And he said, you are more than welcome to come. Guess who was Julio's guest that evening at the diner? The robber. They sat, they ate dinner together. Now, of course, it was his favorite place, so everybody knew him. The waiters went by, hello, how are you? The waitresses, the owner, the dishwasher, and this young kid said to him, my goodness, you know everybody. And you're even nice to the dishwasher. And here's what Julio said. Haven't you been taught you should be nice to everybody? And here the teenager said, you know, yes, I have, but I didn't think people actually behaved that way. When the bill arrived, Julio said to the kid, I guess you're going to have to pay. You have all my money. I can't pay for this. So if you give me back my wallet, I'll gladly treat you. The teenager turned around, handed him the wallet with all the money. The guy paid, and then he gave Julio $20, figuring that the teenager needed help. But Julio asked for one thing in return. You have any idea what that might be?
A hug?
Not a hug.
Have dinner with him the next night?
The knife. Yeah, he asked for the knife. Even still thinking of that robber as a divine, precious being, figuring that knife could be a way he could get into more trouble. And the teenager gave him the knife. Gave it to him. And then they went on their way. You want to talk inspiration? So when Julio did go back and tell his mother, so the mother knew him very well, obviously, she replied, quote, I figure, no, if someone asked you for the time, you would probably give them your watch. And his reply was, I figure, you know, if you treat people right, you can only hope that they treat you right. It's as simple as it gets in this complicated world. Now, as I told you that story, was there any rule that might have come to your mind from hearing that story? Golden. Thank you. The golden rule. The golden rule. Think about that. So look how this story turned around from being one of a victim and a perpetrator. And then when one sees the divinity within someone, this kind of has me believing that faith in humanity is being restored. You know, the science of mind philosophy provides us with such wonderful spiritual tools for our personal growth and transformation, awakens humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and for a world that works for all. So knowing all of the tools of meditation, contemplation, journaling, thinking positively, etc., I invite you to know, understand, and embody the oneness that we talked about. To see the divinity in all. Here's a good one. I love this one. Look at the world not through these outside eyes. Look at the world through your inner heart's eye. It makes a big difference what you will perceive that is outside. That is this beautiful life. And so when you're living your life coming from within, without, you see the magnificence of life. Live by the golden rule, and again, by doing your daily practices, it helps you stay in alignment with your oneness and it makes you, I feel, makes us strong, standing strong in our truth. So in ending, I will say this. When we come from within, and we can look at the world and see the divinity in all, irregardless of outer appearances, and we forget when we are looking outside all of the many isms that are there, such as racism, sexism, ageism, etc., thus ensuring a world that would work for everyone. Push them aside and look at the divinity around you. So my inspiration is experiencing what these 4 pictures show. When you honor and welcome the unique individualized representations of all, and when you do that, you see the most magnificent floral bouquet of life. Because in each and every one of you, you are a flower in this big bouquet that we call life. And when you express your divinity, you are so needed to complete this bouquet of life. You and you and you and you are precious flowers within that bouquet. And each and every one of all of us are needed so that the world will work for all. So I want you to think of becoming a flower and, just seeing the magnificence. And my last thing, experiencing all of this that I get from what I shared with you, this makes me want to be that mouthpiece for the science of mind philosophy and becoming a minister. So I ask you to contemplate building and utilizing your SOM toolbox to ensure your connection with spirit, embodying your oneness, and creating a world that works for all. And I will end with this quote from the SOM text. As the great mystics have all agreed, here's what they agree, quote, that man's life is his to do with as he chooses, but that when he turns to the one, he will always receive inspiration from on high. So go out, be the love each other, see the divinity in all, nurture your arrangement, you know how to do that, and see the magnificence that each and every one is and that life is. Namaste.
Oh, that is